$99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250 micro. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
On the international front, a French slavery law that has remained silently in place for centuries has finally been abolished. Correspondent Karen Chamas with the report.
France's parliament is moving to repeal a slavery law called Code Noir that has remained quietly in place for nearly 2 centuries after slavery was abolished. In a speech last week at the Élysée Palace, French President Emmanuel Macron announced that the Code Noir royal decrees from the 17th and 18th centuries will be removed from French law. Slavery was abolished in France in 1848, which had a significant slave trade, shipping more than 1 million Africans to colonies in the Americas. French lawmakers will likely formally eliminate Code Noir in a vote on Thursday. I'm Karen Chamas.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
From the KSEV Weather Center, tonight expect clear to partly cloudy skies with a low of 72. Tomorrow will bring a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 93. Tomorrow night, skies will be clear to partly cloudy with a low of 75. On Saturday, anticipate sunshine mixing with some clouds and a high of 92. Sunday will be partly sunny and humid with a high of 90. Monday will feature glimpses of blue sky with a thunderstorm and humid conditions with a high of 92. With the KSEV Weather Center forecast, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina.
This program is brought to you in part by Ability Tree Experts. Ability Tree Experts, Houston's leading tree care professionals.
Call 281-441-4179.
Chris X here to tell you about Humble Amco Transmission and AC Specialists. People who know go to Amco. I personally trust Jay Streckfus and Humble Amco with all of my vehicle's needs. With complete car care, they'll take care of all of your auto needs as well. Always a free check engine light inspection, and tell them that Chris X sent you for a free engine scan. Call Jay today at 281-446-0862. That's 281-446-0862 or online at humbleamco.com.
Everyone knows the BBB is the Better Business Bureau, but depending on what you need, it's the Better Plumber Bureau, the Better Auto Mechanic Bureau, the Better Accountant Bureau. That's because the BBB connects people with businesses they can trust. So think of the BBB as the better check that business out first so you don't get ripped off bureau. Be smart. Always look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Check-A-Pro Joe here. Don't miss the Check-A-Pro Radio Show, your trusted source for home service pros. This week, we're featuring Bel Air Air Conditioning, keeping Houston cool and comfortable. Tune in every Friday at 11 a.m., right here on AM 700 KSEV, the voice of Texas.
Launch Control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's ChrisXradio.
ChrisXradio.
What we need right now is a clear message to the people of this country. This message must be read in every newspaper, heard on every radio, seen on every television. This message must resound throughout the entire interlink.
And now, your host.
I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
Chris X.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Chris X Radio. I'm glad to have you here with us as we are doing our Friday show. Wait, what? Friday show? Yeah. We do this every Friday. We like to start the weekend off 24 hours ahead of everybody else because we can. Well, and also kind of because we're forced to. We were forced to discover element 115. We were forced to be able to manipulate the time-space continuum because we had to make room for the Amigos. I say we had to make room. The Amigos were here 25 years before I ever came along, but nonetheless, they're on Fridays from 4 to 6. Well, as you know, anyone who studied anything to do with physics, two objects cannot, occupy the same space. So what we've done is manipulated the time-space continuum, and we moved our Friday show to Thursday. So make sure you tune in tomorrow from 4 to 6 and listen to the Amigos, who do their program along with El Senador, Paul Betancourt, the Judge, and then Bat and Cleanup with Big Lucille, his bat, that he saves, I think, particularly for the Judge, every Friday from 4 to 6. So they'll be tuning in tomorrow. Well, you'll be tuning in and listening to them, and we're doing our Friday show today. So what's different about our Friday show on Thursday, you ask? Well, we have a little fun. We'll talk about whatever is on your mind, which is 281-558-KSEV. Whatever you guys want to talk about. If you want to talk about disclosure, you want to talk about UFOs, you want to talk about, well, one of my favorite subjects, burgers. Today is National Burger Day. Did you know that? I did. I actually know that, which means after the show, I'm going to eat a burger. I'm going to have, I don't know what kind of burger or where, but I'm going to go get a burger somewhere because it basically should be my holiday. National Burger Day. How do you guys like your burgers? I like them with cheese. I like cheeseburgers. The smash burgers are okay, but I don't dig the smash burgers that much. I don't like the little steak burgers. I've had those, which it's okay. The Freddy's, was it steak burgers and frozen custard? Those are okay. I mean, they're all right. But I prefer the traditional good thick patty burger with cheese. I like lettuce. Not a big fan of tomatoes. Don't like tomatoes. Don't like onions. Lettuce, mustard, and mayonnaise. I'm good with either. So occasionally they'll put other things on there, but lettuce and cheese. Like I said, I don't need the tomatoes and I don't need onions, but all else it's good. Everything else is good on it. Who has the best burgers in Houston and surrounding areas? I've done this show before in the past where we asked, hey, who has the best burgers? And usually we get a pretty good response. Who has the best burgers? Where do you go when you want to get where you want a good burger? We all know the Whataburger and then the In-N-Out burger. I'm not talking about necessarily the fast food burgers. I'm talking about the burger joints. Everybody, well, just about everybody's heard of Bubba's. I don't know if Bubba's is still there, but I think Bubba's is over there off, is it West Park? Just under, it's not under 610. I think it's under, right there, West Park and 59, somewhere over there, Southwest Houston. They have pretty good burgers. In fact, I think the last time I was there, boy, it's been a while. I had lunch with, he's now former Congressman Steve Stockman. He was doing a show on the station that I was basically running for the CBS cluster here in Houston at the time. So this is back before his second term in Congress. That was after his first term, and he was gearing up for the second term, and we went and had lunch. Steve's always been a nice guy. Like I said, eventually they shopped grand juries and got people to convict him on a crime that claimed he was embezzling money. He's the poorest guy I've ever seen embezzle money. He was still driving his Toyota, I think it was a Taurus. No, that's 4 doors. Toyota Tercel. It wasn't driving a fancy car. He never had tons of money and just blew it left and right, but they claimed he was embezzling money. Well, if he was embezzling it to someone other than himself. But then again, they shopped grand juries. First grand jury wouldn't indict him. They got another one. This is D.C. after he threatened to have Lois Lerner arrested on Capitol Hill. Yeah, then all of a sudden they shopped another grand jury. They got an indictment. They got 2 of his former staffers that said, okay, yeah, he was doing things illegal. And then immediately after the trial, both of those witnesses came out and said, yeah, we lied. Like, wait, why did you lie? Because they told us if we didn't say this under oath, we were going to get the same treatment that he got. And then he got thrown in a federal pen, and then Trump eventually commuted his sentence. And then I think he just ran, was it for one of it was the area, I guess, that he had served on last time. So I can't remember which district it was or is. Is it 36? Maybe it's 36. But Steve was always a really nice guy. He's kind of a different guy. He wasn't what I'd call, just like everybody else. He's a little different. But he served, non-consecutive terms in Congress. And anyway, that was the last time I was at Bubba's Burgers. I need to go back. I think it's still there. So that was 20 years ago, somewhere around there, probably 24, 25 years ago. My Lord, time flies. So Bubba's is a big one. There's a few others that are around. Like I said, there's your Smash Burgers. There's some of those still around. They kind of went away and then sort of came back, and there's other burgers. Anyway, how do you like your burgers, and who do you recommend as the best burgers in Houston and surrounding area? I think there's a Tejas Burger in Tomball. I like Ron's Hamburgers and Chili. That's in Tomball. That place is pretty good. I like their burgers. 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Let's go ahead and get our Friday show started the way we're supposed to. Let's do it.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend, Friday, getting down on Friday.
Everybody getting down.
Looking forward to the weekend, partying, fun.
All right, here's where it actually gets fun.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend, Friday, getting down on
Why does the foreign guy pronounce getting properly? Because as a society, we have retarded.
Looking forward to the weekend.
Leo Moricciolo, kids. He's some Norwegian dude that has like a studio in his house, and he does metal versions of all the songs and posts them on YouTube. It's Frog Leap Studios. He does some great remakes. He does a great job, but they're all metal. And the dude is a talented musician, obviously. I mean, you can kind of hear from this. The guy knows how to rock. Yeah, and this is one of the worlds I don't understand. Does he have to get permission to do cover versions of other people's songs? And then when he does, when he plays them, he posts the videos on YouTube of him recording them and playing them. And so he's doing other people's music. Does he have to get permission? And then does he have to get permission to put it on YouTube? Because supposedly we have to have this. This is why those, I mean, I know you can hear this one on the interwebs. We video stream our programs now. So when we video stream the shows, you can actually hear that because I'm playing it on my end. I don't know how does this guy, how does this work? I don't understand this brave new world that we're in. And it was so much simpler when you can just go grab a burger and go, hey, I like burgers. You like burgers too? Yeah, let's go get a burger. That seemed a lot easier in those days. Now I think you have to get permission to go get a burger. I was trying to think of some of the burger places I love. I love Beck's Prime. A lot of the locations closed down. There's still one located on Derry Ashford over by I-10. I've been there, but not a lot lately. I don't live in that area anymore. There's the one location over off Westheimer, which is right across the street near Bering, of Papa's Burger. Oh, man. Papa's has a good burger. They've got a really good burger. The only problem with those places is the cost has gone up so much. Basically, if you go get a cheeseburger, a soda, in my case, a Coke Zero or a Diet Coke, whatever they have, and then fries, you're looking at close to $30 for a burger. $30 for lunch is a lot of money. Can't do that every day. I used to go out and eat lunch every day. I don't do that anymore. It got too expensive for me. So that's special occasions. But that's over in Southwest Houston. That's Papa's Burger right next to Papa's Steakhouse, which is a very expensive steakhouse. Haven't been there in probably 15, 20 years too. I can't even imagine how expensive they are now. Anyway, so it's National Hamburger Day, so you can tell us if there's a certain burger joint that you like to hit, especially if they're not too expensive. 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Realize it is our Friday show. We'll talk about whatever is on your mind. All right, so what's on my mind today? U.S. and Iranian negotiators have reached an agreement on a 60-day memorandum of understanding extending to the current ceasefire and launching negotiations on Iran's nuclear program. Wait, what? Does that mean we have a new deal? No, but the deal still needs President Trump's final approval. U.S. sources have confirmed to Fox News. Okay, so we got sort of a new thing. So I don't know. So we have a bit of a new agreement. All right, so the Federal Reserve's preferred measure of inflation rose by slightly less than forecast in April. The personal consumption expenditures price index has moved up 0.4% last month compared with March. This is according to the Commerce Department's Bureau of Economic Analysis. Okay, so inflation didn't go up as much. Do people care? People paying more for stuff. In the last 5 years, the cost of everything has gone up so exponentially, it's been ridiculous. That's why when Trump, who campaigned on lowering costs for everything, and then also being anti-war, had to did a military operation in Iran to stop them from getting a nuclear weapon, which in turn has caused, the Strait of Hormuz to be locked up. And people are very upset by, one, the military operation, two, the fact that it caused gas prices to go, up $1 or something. People are very upset by that. Sort of the straw that broke the camel's back. If you look at it logically, pay an extra $10 a gallon, or, there's, like I said, I'm not talking about commercial drivers. The average person, that's not that much. But for some reason, there's a mental thing that when you're filling up your tank, when it goes over a certain level, when it costs a lot more, that really angers people. And it will cost him direly in the midterms if that's not gotten under control. So we'll see how things go with that. The feds have now seized $40 million in gold bars and cash and Rolexes from a former CIA official who faked being a Navy pilot. Another reason people get angry when we don't have millions of dollars, and then some fake Navy pilot, CIA official, the dude had $40 million in gold bars in his home and cash and Rolexes. That angers me too, because these people have been grabbing our tax dollars with both hands, Chester. These people in Minnesota, little Somalia, little Mogadishu, over in Minnesota and California, that are just raping the system to the tune of billions of our tax dollars, while the IRS cannot get enough of our money. They hassle me every year for more money. I have to fight them every year for more money. When I'm a talk show host who's basically a part-time employee, haven't had a raise in 5 years, and I don't get any additional money. I only do the show 4 days a week, so I'm not complaining. But the point is, the IRS has somehow determined that I owe them more money. What? It's insane. I would say it's almost weaponized. It is. Well, a criminal investigation has been launched by the Department of Justice into E. Jean Carroll, the Sometimes magazine columnist, complete whack job weirdo who accused President Trump of raping her in the mid-1990s, yet no one saw it. No one ever saw the two alone together. No one saw what happened. She completely misremembered what dress she wore because she didn't own it at the time, where it happened, when all of this stuff is insane. But you had a lefty jury that said that he did sexually assault her. This is May of 2023. And then he defamed her by lying. Because he defended himself and said, listen, I didn't do this. I don't know this woman. They said he lied, but they said he did not rape her. Well, How do you, I mean, huh? Speaking of lies, social media has erupted after Jill Biden, Dr. Jill Biden. She did not spend 6 years in evil medical school to be referred to as Mrs. Jill Biden. It's Dr. Jill Biden, revealing that she was frightened watching Joe's disastrous debate. As she watched it, she now claims, because she's selling a book, oh my God, he's having a stroke. It scared me to death. And then proceeded to jump around and say, he answered all the questions. 4 more years. 4 more years. Trump is a liar. Trump is a liar. 4 more years. Joe, you did so good. Praised him like a toddler. What a horrible person. So we'll get into that. Oh, and by the way, this is the most non-shocking story of all time. Beto O'Rourke has come out and endorsed gay Beto, James Talafrico. Yeah, some people were calling him Beto Jesus. I kind of like gay Beto. It's like Beto, but only gayer. James Talafrico saying that he will win and be the 51st vote in the U.S. Senate. John Nolte over at Breitbart hammers Talafrico in a hilarious article that is worth a read. And I'm going to get through and try to read through it if you haven't already read it over at Breitbart.com. James got his non-binary Talafrico can't even handle a CBS softball interview. I referenced this interview yesterday. His answers, he's already done a 180 on his lefty things because he's trying to move to the middle and pretend that he's not a radical leftist, but he's not going to be able to hide from that. And they're not going to be able to just somehow pretend it didn't happen. All right, so I'll go through that article as time permits here during the program. We'll be taking your calls. What do you guys want to talk about? 281-558-KSEV. It is also National Burger Day. How do you like your burgers? And who has the best hamburgers in Houston and the surrounding areas? The surrounding areas sometimes have the better burgers. 281-558-5738. All right, let's go and take a break. You're listening to Chris X Radio. We'll come back, pick up with, looks like we've got Frederick out in Richmond. Oh, is there some good burger thoughts out in Richmond? I don't go out to Richmond very often, but I might have to. Anywhere there's a good burger, our Chris X can be found. I am powered by burgers. In fact, too many in the last few years. But I'm doing better. I'm getting in better shape again. I've started actually getting in better shape because I wasn't really doing much. So now I'm cycling, doing my bike, and doing training like what I used to for baseball to get ready for baseball season, even though I don't play baseball anymore. All right, 281-558-KSEV. I'm Chris X. We'll be right back. Is it burger o'clock yet? Should be. I guess it's burger o'clock all day long because it's National Burger Day today. Oh, man. Welcome back to Chris X Radio. I'm the aforementioned X-Man. Glad to have you here with us. It is our Friday show on Thursday, which means we will talk about whatever in the world that you guys want to talk about. Now, I have laid out a certain subject that is near and dear to my heart, along with its clogging the artery clogging byproducts is it's National Burger Day. How do you like your burgers, and who has the best burgers in Houston and the surrounding areas? It doesn't have to necessarily just be here in Houston. Who do you think? And whatever else you want to talk about. It is our Friday show on Thursday. 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. All right, let's go ahead and go to the phones, pick up some calls here, find out. Well, it looks like we may find out about some burgers. Let's go to Frederick, listening in Richmond. Frederick, thank you for hanging on. Welcome to Chris X Radio.
Chris, I usually call it something funny, but today I want to give a shout-out to Whataburger because that's my favorite burger right now. My son and daughter both went to University of St. Thomas. That bill is huge. And Whataburger gave my son a Friday, Saturday job. And I've been eating there as my way of donating back. I want the triple. I want to put cheese. And then they got this fajita, which is a pepper mix with grilled onions. Oh, it tastes wonderful.
First of all, I love Whataburger. Being from Texas, you almost have to. I've even visited, which I hear it's not the original one, but it's in the same old original location of the original Whataburger in Corpus Christi, because I didn't go to Corpus Christi for years, and finally I went there a couple of times and just went to the Whataburger and kind of checked it out. It's actually a nice area. So I went and did that. I love Whataburger. I go there entirely too frequently, but yes, I do like their burgers. I have not graduated to the triple meat Whataburger. I've only graduated to the double meat burger. How much bigger is the triple meat than the double meat? Can you just eat it like a normal burger?
I had to, and man, I was celebrating my son at a 3.8 this semester in chemical engineering, so I had to celebrate. Awesome. That thing is just delicious. It's got to drip to be a real hamburger. It can't be so well done that it's not dripping. And you got to order. Remember, you got to order the extra side of mustard at Whataburger. It doesn't come in the pack. They put it in a little bin. Love it.
Okay. All right.
And I would invite Trump to come down to the Republican convention here in Texas and buy us all a Whataburger. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you for the call, Frederick. I appreciate it. Yeah, come on, Uncle Donald. Come on down to Houston. Go to Whataburger and go, what the hell's a triple Whataburger? Whataburger's for everyone. He went to Dairy Queen. I remember he did that. Bought everyone a Blizzard, and they went, what the hell's a Blizzard? So funny. Yeah, like I said, being born and raised here in Texas, in the Houston area particularly, I've eaten Whataburger my entire life. One of the things I like about Whataburger is when they put mustard on their burgers. I've never added the extra mustard. Now, my girlfriend, on the other hand, I will buy her a mustard sandwich with extra mustard. But I do like the mustard on the burger. Of course, I like the burgers with just mayonnaise on them as well. That was generally when we were kids until we discovered mustard. So, but Whataburger, I like it. As far as the drive-through locations, like Whataburger, I prefer it over In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out Burger's okay, but it wasn't. I like I said, being a Texas boy, I like the Whataburger better. I've only been to In-N-Out Burger a couple of times, and really their fries weren't that great. Whataburger's fries are fantastic. I like those almost like McDonald's fries, which I like a good McDonald's. I like the doubles there. I like the double quarter pounder with cheese. Used to love Big Macs when I was younger, where they put the secret sauce on it. That's the Big Mac. But I like those. But those are in a different category than, say, Bubba's or Five Guys. I was talking during the break. Five Guys burgers are good. The genius of Five Guys burgers is when you go order, they put them in the bag for you. You order a burger. I think generally it's a double unless you specify a single. But you can order the small fries, and not only do you get the little cup of fries they put in the bottom, they literally pour half your bag full of French fries, which is, I try to stay away from the fries because I eat too many of them. They're not good for you, but man, they're so good. And now in that time, I will eat 10 times the amount of fries that I should be eating because it's so good. Once again, it's a different class. Five Guys burgers is not a drive-through. I've never seen one with a drive-through. Whereas Beck's Prime is an upper-level burger that has a drive-through. And I echo what Frederick was saying. If the burger isn't dripping and coming out, then it doesn't really count. So, but just any Whataburger is going to be a little messy. It's hard to eat if you're driving. I generally, if I get that, I either take it home or eat there. Or once again, if I eat it in my truck, I try to pull over somewhere and eat there because it's really too difficult to drive and eat a Whataburger. So, but they're delicious. So that's, as far as the fast food burger goes, I think Whataburger's the best. Second, I would probably go with, probably McDonald's, I guess, and then Burger King. Well, actually, hold on. Like I said, I don't really consider it, even though they have a drive-through, Beck's Prime, the fast food burger. They're also a lot more expensive. Man, the Beck's Prime burgers, they're expensive, sort of like the Papa's Burger, which also does not have a drive-through. The Papa's Burgers are big. They're enormous. The fries are good. They're fantastic as well. But once again, that's not a fast food burger. I imagine it's probably the health benefits are probably the same. But I love Papa's Burger. They do. You can get it with mustard or mayonnaise, however you want or whatever. They're good. I've learned that a lot of, I think places up north tend to go with the mayonnaise on their burgers. And then I've learned that in Texas or in the South, the mustard is probably a bigger thing. I don't know how they do up north because I don't, like I said, you guys know me. I don't consider the North at all, especially when it comes to dining options. Well, if you go northeast, they got good lobster up there. I'll give them that. But that's because they're on the ocean and they can pull them out of their backyard. We're on a sneaky gulf down here. Now, listen, I love Galveston, really, and of course, Surfside. But the water's not quite like it is up there. It's also not as cold. So there's that. But how do you like your burgers? All right, tell you what, we're going to take a break because we're way over. We'll come back. Looks like we've got, is it Run On Robert? He must be taking a break from washing those windshields down in Pearland. He's got to know a good burger place in Pearland, right? There's got to be one. Where are the good burger places in Houston and surrounding areas? I mentioned Tomball. There's Tejas Burgers. There's Ron's Hamburgers and Chili. There's one of those out in Magnolia, too. I've been there a few times. Who has the best burgers, in your opinion, here on National Burger Day? It also happens to be our Friday show on Thursday. What is on your mind? 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Don't you go anywhere. By the way, I don't know if any of you guys were watching, but when Ken Paxton was giving his acceptance speech of the nomination now, because it's going to be him against James Telefrico, when he won against John Cornyn, I noticed he stole the Craig Collins Show theme song, Thunderstruck. So I wonder if he got permission from Craig Collins. I don't know. I'm thinking he didn't. He might get in trouble for that. He did not, I'm told. Anyway, well, you can hear it later today at 6 p.m. The Craig Collins program airs here Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Each weekday, following not only my show, but tomorrow, The Amigos from 4 to 6, which is why we do our Friday show here on ChrisXradio on Thursday. That's right, we do it 24 hours ahead of everybody else. We're already in weekend mode. It also works out that it happens to be National Burger Day. How do you like your burgers? Who has the best burgers here in Houston and the surrounding areas? 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. I want to know the best burger places. I said I've gone to some of them. There's a place, what is it? One up in Cypress. There's a few in Cypress, actually. I think the Smash Burger is gone now. But there's another place called the Frio or something. They have pretty good burgers. I've been there a couple of times. Can't go wrong with the burgers there. But anywhere you can get burgers in Houston and surrounding areas, I'm down for. I love Papa's Burger, Five Guys. I like Whataburger, McDonald's. Not a big fan of the In-N-Out Burger. It's kind of bland to taste. And I'm a person who generally likes bland stuff. I don't need a lot of pepper. I don't need jalapenos. I don't need that stuff. But I guess, man, when you're raised on Whataburger, maybe that has something to do with it. And then we have Papa's Burger, which is amazing. Of course, Beck's Prime, which is good. So a lot of good burger joints. There used to be Sam's Burgers. I don't think it's there anymore. Over there off of, was it Eldridge? Or maybe Derry Ashford. I can't remember. Over there off the west side. Went there. They had pretty good burgers, too. And then, of course, can't forget to mention Trump Burger, which is no longer Trump Burger. Now they're like the President's Burger or MAGA Burger or something along those lines. Apparently, the guys who did Trump Burger were illegal aliens, or at least one of them was an immigrant who was here who had overstayed their visa. And I don't know if he got deported but it's funny because these guys are just straight up huge Trump supporters, but that doesn't negate our immigration laws. So I don't know what happened. But I heard there's still, I enjoyed the Trump Burger out in Belleville. That's a good one. So now I think it's President's Burger. But so we may have some other locations as well. We can talk about who has the best burgers in Houston and surrounding areas. Like I said, I went out to Belleville, went up to, Kemah, went up there and had the burgers up there. I don't know if Galveston has any good burger joints. Anyway, 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Tell you what, let's go to Robert listening in Pearland. That would be Run On Robert. Robert, thanks for hanging on. Welcome to ChrisXradio.
If you buy me a burger today, I will pay you back on Tuesday.
I'm going to start calling you, your new nickname is Robert Wimpy from Pearland. I will gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger.
You're going to be hearing about nicknames here in a minute. So, but in the week news, Tuesday, a shark bite on a 17-year-old boy was reported off Galveston. As of the time of the report, the species of the shark was unknown. My guess it was a leaping shark because the boy was not in the water, but on a boat.
Wow. First of all, that is a very rare occurrence. We don't see a lot of people get bit by sharks in Galveston. So there's that. And I saw that, and they had to apply a tourniquet and took the kid. I have not heard an update on how well he's doing. I think it was a 17-year-old kid, something like that. I did not know that he was bitten on a boat. I thought he probably would have been in the water. But you're telling me he was on a boat and got bit by a shark.
Killen's is the best hamburger restaurant in Pearland.
Man, that was a pivot. I forgot. Killen's has a very good burger in Pearland. Went there once or twice, and they're pretty good burgers.
They also have a great steak place. That's why the beef is the best.
Yeah, I've been there. Oh, man. Their steakhouse
Chris,
in Killen's in Pearland.
It's no longer CBS News. Now I call it CBS News. There you go.
That's about where they get their reporting comes from.
When did driving to work turn into a Formula One event? People jockeying for position, manipulating their spoilers, their airfoils, their air dams, like they're driving an airplane. And, of course, the guy next to you has to beat you to the light by 2/100ths of a second! Exclamation point.
Does that make it easier or more difficult for you to wash their windshields?
That's what they're running from. But it's an exclamation point. Can you see it? I'm holding it up to the flip phone off the script. All right.
Okay.
All right. So speaking of shopping at Walmart, so I'm shopping at Walmart, and I went in Monday to pick up some salad makings. I try to eat well. And I noticed a couple seated nearby, and they were, well, big enough to justify the electric motor chairs they were scooting around in. And only one question came to my mind: is the grocery store the best place for y'all to be? I mean, isn't that where the problem started to begin with? Now, this is real news. In real news, there's a billboard on I-10 right outside I-10 West, right outside the Loop, at a car dealership, and it reads, quote, and this is for real, "Now hiring new and pre-owned salespeople." No punchline there. That's just funny, just like it is. Don't even need a writer, just a reader.
So, wait, you didn't add new writers. You've just added billboards to your writing team. I mean, that's not bad. That's pretty good.
It's cheaper. And you know what those woke idiots in Seattle want? They want to get rid of the Space Needle. Do you want to know why?
Why?
It's too straight. So, Chris, you keep talking about partying and getting down on Friday last week, and, you sing like that guy, and then you ask, is that really singing? To which I ask, is that really music?
You're starting to sound like my dad.
In personal news, I could be your dad for all you know. In personal news, hey, Chris, you know what? I'm getting tired of your bullcorn. I don't even know who came up with that expletive, but that is one exquisite, elegant phrase, and I pledge to use it more often. For example, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Bullcorn. See how beautiful that is?
I like that. That's why I start using that. I like that as well. Bullcorn.
The last thing, bullcorn. Last thing I got is, first I got to say this: the whole comment is courtesy of thesaurus.com. Thesaurus.com, where I get all my adjectives. So a word to our Chris X listeners. Hey guys, I've been calling for years into the Chris X show and have garnered nicknames, many nicknames. I even got a new one today: Cracker Croaker, Murder Hornet, Man from Uranus, planet Uranus, Cracker Smoker, Smoker Cracker, Homeless Windshield Guy, many others. If you too want to be graced with monikers, just do what I do. Call the show and just start talking, and then make a mistake or be not funny for 10 seconds, and Chris X will mercilessly annihilate you and pin the most ridiculous nicknames on you that don't even make any sense or related to anything outside his deranged, unhinged, demented mind that only hears 12% of what you're saying and only 3% of what you mean. And that's some good advice from new callers that have no self-esteem either, or the ability to think in real time as he peppers you with his endless psychotic conclusions that he then expects you to turn into a joke. So grab your poetry books, your squeegee, which he will name, your joke book from vaudeville in the 40s, your fart sound machine, a cowbell, and a crappy telephone, and set it on hold. Just get on hold, set it there, get ready to receive a barrage of meaningless non sequiturs that only the two of y'all will laugh at together for years. And that's why I can't wait for the next time to call into the Chris X Radio Show, my friend and the sweetest guy I know. Love you, Chris. Good night.
Well, thank you for the call, and please quit abusing that cat over there. Of all the nicknames that you mentioned, I can't believe you didn't mention the original nickname, which was illustrated on display by that last sentence as "Run on, Robert." So you left that part out. Don't ask me how you missed that one. I guess maybe it's a little too obvious. But thank you for the call, Robert. Always good to hear from you. I always appreciate your calls. Occasionally we get another caller on the program. Sometimes, not often, but occasionally we get this other guy who calls in, and he likes to really give. Oh, no. The hotline's ringing. I guess I need to go to the hotline and find out who it is. It's got to be. It's our guy. You better have your ears on, Run on, Robert. Chris X Radio, welcome to the hotline. How may I help you?
Chris X, listen, Chris X, listen, okay? Yeah, you think you know things, you think you know stuff, you don't know anything, okay? You don't know a damn thing about what's going on, do you? No, you're just talking to this guy who runs on and on and on and on, and he keeps on running on, and he's still running. He's probably talking in his Chinese phone with his cowbell and his little cat that he's abusing for fart noises, okay? Listen, he's run on Robert, and he will always be run on Robert. Listen, I called for a reason, Chris X. Are you still there? You still listening? Yeah, I'm still listening. We may have some video difficulties. Sometimes we do, but the audio's still there, so keep listening. But yeah, I'm still here. We're talking, it's John Miller, international spokesperson. He calls for, I don't know what reason. Do you have a particular reason? Chris X, shut up, okay? Listen, I do have an important reason. Ken Paxton, a Trump-endorsed candidate, destroyed low-T John Cornyn, and now we're moving on to low-T Telefrico, okay? He's nothing but a low-T guy. He's got no energy, no really anything other than a lisp, I guess. Maybe sounds like a Beto, only gayer. So he's got that. From what I hear, he's taking non-acting gay lessons from Tim Walz in Minnesota. All right, thanks for the call, Chris X. Always good to talk to you. Thank you, John Miller, international spokesperson. For some reason, I don't know why, he tends to call after Robert in Pearland. All right, we need to take a break. 281-558-KSEV. It is our Friday show on Thursday. So we'll take more of your phone calls. We'll talk about whatever's on your mind. I can't believe John Miller didn't give us a burger reference. I don't know. I think he's too high class. Unlike Donald Trump, who loves some good KFC and some McDonald's, he does have they call him the blue-collar billionaire. He's got a blue-collar palate, that's for sure. He and I could probably go out and eat and have a burger somewhere, and neither one of us would have a beer. He would have a Diet Coke, please, and I would go with the Coke Zero. Because that's just how I roll. All right, 281-558-KSEV. We'll come back, wrap up this first hour, get you locked and loaded for hour number 2.
All right, I forgot about Killen's Burgers in Pearland. I mean, I hadn't been there in a while. May have to go back to that one. Their burgers are good, and they were moderately priced when I went last time, which was it before? Or I think it was before the Biden hole or during the Biden hole. I don't remember. Anyway, welcome back to ChrisX Radio. Glad to have you here with us on our Friday show on Thursday. What is on your mind today? It's also National Burger Day. So if you want to tell us how you like your burgers and who has the best burgers in Houston and the surrounding areas, 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Let's go out to Ron, who's been patiently holding through all that nonsense in Belleville. Ron, thank you for hanging on. Welcome to ChrisX Radio.
Well, thank you, sir. We are blessed here in Belleville that we have the Trump burger or President's burger now. But on the other side of town, we have the Hill, which I like better than the Trump burger. So it's been here forever and a day. The second one I got for you is on the west side of Houston, I-10 in Kirkwood, Sam's Deli Diner in the strip center there at Kirkwood and I-10. And the third one is in Rosenberg, 2M's. It's an old school awning place that you drive up underneath. It's been there, I think, since the 60s. And they have a really good burger, and they're right down the street from Bob's Taco, which is world famous in itself.
Wow, man, you came loaded. Okay, hold on. I got to go back because we've been to President's Burger in Belleville. So the other place is called The Hill. I'm going to have to try that. You mentioned the one off Kirkwood and I-10, which you said was that one's called Sam's Deli. I've been there, I think, one time. Yeah. And you're right. Their burgers are excellent.
Sam's Deli Diner.
Sam's Deli Diner.
They have what they call an all-day burger, which is a double meat cheese with bacon, chili, and a fried egg on it.
Oh, wow.
And you eat that, and you don't have to eat again all day.
Yeah, I was going to say, that'll hold you over for a day or two, possibly. So that one, and then what was the name of the one out in Richmond, Rosenberg area?
It's 2M's, the number 2 and initial M apostrophe F. And
okay.
It's on Avenue H, Highway 90, right there in Rosenberg.
Okay, I may have to go try that one. I don't think I've had that one. So, all right, but man, you came loaded.
Yeah, it's a hole in the wall, but man, they make a good burger.
That's that's my kind of burger. I think Trump could go for a burger like that one. That's his palate's right there in my realm.
If there's more than 8 people there, you'll have to get your burger and go back out in the parking lot and sit under the awning and eat it.
Yeah, that's okay. But long as it's not here in like June or July, it's okay in Texas. So, all right, thank you for the call, Ron. I appreciate it. The title was Burger Trifecta. He wasn't kidding. He nailed it. That is the Burger Trifecta. So I've got a few burger joints to go try out. All right, let's try to get to Andy here before we run out of time in the first hour. Andy, thank you for hanging on. Welcome to ChrisX Radio.
Yeah, I hope I can do this pretty fast. Well, the burger place I would recommend is at the end of Dasher Road 1 at 146. It's been 20 years since I've been there, but they had some of the best hamburgers I've ever eaten there. I don't remember the name of the place, but at that location.
Okay, I'll have to look that up.
Chris, this is a story that could have happened but didn't, but here we go. We went up to your Hutton lease looking for some turkeys and stuff around. You, me, and Robert. And as we were going up, we went up at nighttime, and Robert says, let's go next door over there because I've seen there's more turkeys over there than anywhere else. So, and it was at nighttime. We're going to go catch them off the roost. And you told us, oh, no, don't go over there. Farmer Brown's over there. He'll come out after us with his dog and shotgun and make us run us off. So, no, let's go. So we all went over there. It's nighttime. We go out and we're looking. And all of a sudden we're hearing the difference. Arr, arr. And here comes this dog, and it's Farmer Brown's dog. And oh, no, what are we going to do? He said, let's run up these trees. So you ran up one tree, I ran up another, and Robert ran up the third tree. But the dog ran up to your tree and goes, oh, and you go, Farmer says, who's up in that tree? And you go, woo, 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 woo. Oh, boy, I just know owl, dog. And so he runs up to my tree. Oh, who's up there? That's just no crow. And he goes up to Robert's tree. Who's up in that tree? Robert goes,
Got to end it there. Hour number 2's up next. Thanks for the call, Andy.
You're listening to the Voice of Texas, AM 700 KSEV Tomball and AM 1540 KG.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm John Scott. Tension still high in the Middle East. That's even after word that a deal with the U.S. may have been reached, something Iran did not immediately confirm.
As ceasefire talks between the U.S. and Iran drag on, the truce has come under another test. The U.S. has carried out a series of strikes on Iranian targets this week, most recently on Wednesday night. It says these strikes are in response to Iranian threats. In the latest incident, Kuwait says it was attacked by Iranian missiles and drones. Iran confirms that it launched a fresh attack in the region. It says this is in response to American aggression. Now, these clashes have not caused the ceasefire to collapse, but they have left the Middle East on edge.
Correspondent Joe Fetterman. And on another battlefront, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky sends a request to the U.S. for more Patriot missiles. We hear from correspondent Karen Chamas.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said he has pushed the U.S. to send Ukraine more Patriot air defense missiles to counter Russian attacks. In a video address, he said he sent a letter to President Donald Trump and Congress earlier this week, but hasn't received a reply. Zelensky also said Thursday during a visit to Sweden that Ukraine has plans to buy 20 Gripen fighter jets and receive 16 older models as a donation. Ukrainian drones are also playing a crucial role in limiting Russian advances by targeting supply routes and frontline positions. I'm Karen Chamas.
The legal battle is growing over cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. The Trump administration is suing 4 Democrat-led states over policies blocking undercover license plates for federal immigration agents. The Department of Justice says the restrictions are interfering with immigration enforcement and putting federal agents at greater risk. More on these stories from townhall.com.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a super fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250 micro. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
This True Sand commentary is brought to you by Ability Tree Experts. Ability Tree Experts, Houston's leading tree care professionals. Call 281-441-4179.
From KSEV, here's political contributor Ben Strusand.
Military planners always assumed that if a war with Iran began, the Iranians would attempt to take the Persian Gulf hostage and close the Straits of Hormuz. What nobody expected was that the Iranians would be allowed to export while America's allies, the Saudis, Kuwaitis, the UAE, and occasionally Qatar, would be blocked. A sort of mutually assured destruction was expected to provide enough leverage on Iran to keep the straits open. Yet, for a brief period, they were allowed to export their own crude and charge a ransom to anyone else wanting to do the same. That is, until the U.S. Navy stepped in with a blockade of its own on all Iranian exports, including crude oil. In just a few weeks, Iranian storage will max out, leaving Iranian oil producers with no other choices but to shut in oil wells permanently, damaging their ability to fund their economy, pay their military, and bankroll their terrorist proxies. The cutoff would be close to 100%, a huge blow if continued. Which is why, even though Democrats in Congress attempted to hand the Iranians a victory by pulling funding from our military, the United States will successfully force the Iranians to yield and concede to open the straits and end their nuclear weapons program, one way or another. Despite the media fawning over the brilliance of Iranian strategy, the Iranians will lose. Despite his political opponents rooting for U.S. strategy to fail, President Trump has bent the arc of history and dealt a homicidal regime a blow it will take decades to recover. The American people have not supported this war, and high gas prices will harm Republican chances in November. But the prospects of a deal on America's terms should result in us doing a lot better than most people think. I'm Ben Strusand, and that's my view.
Ben Strusand, only on AM 700 KSEV.
Dan Patrick for my friend Louis Flory and Ability Tree Experts.
Spring is here and summer just around the corner, which means it's time to deep root fertilize your trees in addition to spraying for insects and disease. Let Ability Trees help maintain their value and repair all damage. Fed and pruned tree will be less susceptible to wind damage and uprooting. Caring for the beautiful and valuable trees on your property that you can't replace should be done by experts. And the experts I use, it's very clear. It's Ability Tree Experts and Louis Flory, my friend for over 40 years. Gosh, this guy is the pro when it comes to taking care of trees. You know, pruning is important for the health of your trees, and pruning limits resistance to spring storms and allows the sun and fresh air into the canopy. Trees can be in distress several months without showing any signs, so don't wait to protect your investment at 281-441-4179, 281-441-4179, or visit their website at abilitytrees.com. Right now, Ability Trees is giving a deep root feeding with every tree pruned. Ability Trees, Houston's leading tree care professional.
Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's ChrisXradio.
What we need right now is a clear message to the people of this country. This message must be read in every newspaper, heard on every radio, seen on every television. This message must resound throughout the entire interlink.
And now your host,
I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
Chris X.
Good evening and welcome to ChrisXradio, the second hour of the program. Glad to have you here with us as we are rocking our way up to the 6 p.m. hour. We go Monday through Thursday, 4 to 6. When you say, why do you only go to Thursday? Because the Amigos take over tomorrow from 4 to 6, so make an appointment to tune in to the Amigos every Friday from 4 to 6 with El Senador, the ringleader, Senator Paul Betancourt, the judge, and bat and cleanup is a Strew with a view. Mr. Ben Strusand shows up with his big Lucille bat and usually pivots it figuratively. In this world of political violence we live in now, I have to make sure I say that we're just figuratively, he's not actually hitting anyone over the head with a bat. Even though sometimes I think he probably wouldn't mind hitting the judge over the head with a bat. But he doesn't. You know why? Because Ben is not a violent, a leftist extremist. He's the exact opposite. He's someone who makes sense, has logic and reason. Oh, he's a conservative. Hey, what are the odds of that? Anyway, the Amigos take over every Friday from 4 to 6, so we manipulate the time-space continuum and do our Friday show on Thursday. That's right, we're doing it today. We're halfway done. We're halfway there. We roll up until 6 p.m., and then we turn things over to the Craig Collins program at 6 p.m., so make a point to tune into that as well. You get the Craig Collins show every Monday through Friday at 6. So there you go. Live local radio every afternoon. From what I'm told, now, I could be mistaken on the actual date, but from what I'm told, we have the Dana show coming here, I think around June, somewhere around there. June 1st, I believe, which, by the way, is next week. So if that is, in fact, the case, I know she's coming back to KSEV, which we're glad to have her. I'm a big fan of, I like Dana Lash, and I like her program. I don't listen to it as often as I used to. Every time I tune in, there's some Craig guy filling in over there. I don't know who that guy is. But nonetheless, he's always filling in for Dana. But no, actually, she does a great show. I enjoy her show. So I'm glad it's coming back to KSEV. And here's the thing. I don't hate Guy, a.k.a. Doug Benson, his show. It's okay. He did a great takedown of our everybody's favorite pal, definitely heterosexual, and just a chick magnet, James Tallarico, earlier today. But his assessment, I think, on Ken Paxton is a little harsh and a little bit wrong. Not completely, but then again, all of these guys that don't live in Texas all wanted John Cornyn. Everybody who lives in Texas, apparently, to the tune of about 28%, were done with John Cornyn and ready to move on. So now we get Ken Paxton. It is a no-brainer on a vote to vote for Ken Paxton over James Low T. Tallarico. By the way, gas prices are dropping. National average is down 14 cents. Texas is down 17 cents. And funny, Houston is only down 9 cents. What do we tell you about Democrat-run enclaves? It's always that way. Anyway, nonetheless, gas prices are moving down. Yeah, I saw it was cheaper over here near me. So that'll bode well for when it dries up in the hill country and I go back up there. It's been raining a lot at the ranch that I go to, so I don't think I'll be heading up there this weekend. If it dries up, doesn't rain next weekend, I can always tell because, you look at the water crossing the creek and you see that and you go, oh, okay, that's probably a little soggy. Don't want to drive through the water. I mean, I can because it's not very, not a ton of water, but nonetheless, that means the pasture is going to be pretty well saturated. So I don't want to go out there and play in the mud. Damn sure don't want to get stuck in the mud. That would be a freaking nightmare. So don't want to do that. That's for damn sure. So anyway, but nonetheless, glad to have you here with us on hour number 2. It is our Friday show on Thursday, as I mentioned, but it's also National Burger Day. We had some good burger suggestions in the first hour. I'm taking all of them. You guys tell me who has the best burgers, and I'll go try them out. And then I'll decide for myself. I'll make that decision. But I like a good burger. I was mentioning Papa's Burgers and X Prime, and learned of one, 2 M's out in Rosenberg or Richmond. That's virtually the same thing. It's actually different, but I'll go check that out. He mentioned Sam's Deli over there off Kirkwood. That's right by the station, by the way. And I have been there and had a burger there. I didn't get the all-day burger. I don't like eggs on my hamburger. I like eggs, but I don't love them. I like them. But I generally don't get eggs on a burger. I think it just distracts from the taste. And I like cheese on my burger, some lettuce, some pickles, mustard, mayonnaise. That's all I need. I don't need tomatoes. I don't need onions. And so I mentioned that one as well. And then, of course, there's a place called The Hill, I think, or The Hill Restaurant or whatever. It says a good burger place in the place with President's Burger up there. I guess it's north and west of Houston. It's where it's called President's Burger now. It used to be called Trump Burger. It's up there. It's Belleville is what I'm speaking of, and Belleville's good. Like I said, I like the President's Burger, or Trump Burger is what it was called before, but now it's President's Burger. I wonder if they'll change it if a Democrat gets back in office, as they should. Anyway, who has the best burgers in Houston and surrounding areas, and how do you like your burgers? 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738, and also whatever is on your mind today. There's actually a lot going on, and we can get into that as well. I want to try to, in fact, I'm going to get to this breakdown of Tallarico on his CBS interview. John Nolte just does an epic takedown of him. We'll get to that. In fact, Beto O'Rourke, he's shaking off the mothballs. He's come out, and now he's endorsing gay Beto, James Tallarico, saying that he will win and be the 51st vote in the U.S. Senate. Couldn't get a better endorsement than the guy who's a 3-time loser in Texas. Ran for Senate, he ran for governor, and then I think he tried to run for president. He got smoked in all cases. So good. If he's endorsing James Tallarico, who is a far worse candidate than even Beto O'Rourke was, because Beto at least could pull off he didn't have to go to a not gay acting class from Tim Walz in Minnesota. Listen, I don't know if James Tallarico is gay, but he has an imaginary girlfriend, and he sounds kind of gay, and he daydreams about trans children. So he loves them. I'm just like, I don't know, man. That's a little weird. But anyway, Beto O'Rourke thinks he's going to win and be the fit first. The Democrats are going to spend $150 million to try to steal this race. So absolutely we need to get out and vote. John Nolte over at Breitbart just hammers Talarico in this article. It's worth a read, called James God is Non-Binary. Talarico can't even handle a CBS softball interview. I watched the interview. He's absolutely right. Stridently heterosexual U.S. Senate candidate James God is non-binary Talarico can't even handle the softest softball interview, even with the far left CBS News. Basically, CBS News sat down with Talarico, who has a secret girlfriend, no, for real, with only one purpose: to give this Democrat a chance to clean up, put some behind him of his, put behind some of him the ludicrous, heretical, and anti-science quotes the GOP is already hammering him with. These quotes, it's not Nolte paraphrasing him, and it's the not at all gay James Talarico who said the following. In 2021, Talarico took time away from possibly having wild heterosexual sex with his girlfriend to announce, "In my faith, God is non-binary." And then I learned just about a month ago he was attacking people who were criticizing that statement. The one thing I want all of us to be aware of is that modern science obviously recognizes that there are more than two biological sexes. Talarico said the same year as his secret girlfriend, possibly, waited with sweaty anticipation for his return. In fact, he said there are 6. Then in 2022, he explained where all of his heterosexual energy comes from. I am proud to say that our campaign has officially become a non-meat campaign. We are only buying vegan products for our local vegan businesses. From our local vegan businesses. That's not half the lunacy that he has spewed. But those are comments that he was desperate enough to give an interview, an opportunity to clean up. Well, CBS was desperate enough to give an opportunity to clean it up so they can try to pass him off as a moderate. CBS News, God is non-binary. What did you mean by that? Well, Talarico responded, well, I think I was being intentionally provocative with that statement. No, you were code speaking to your leftist lunatic wackos just like you. But what it means is that God can't be defined by human categories. I think pretty much everybody knows that. The Apostle Paul wrote in his letter to the Galatians, says that Christ is neither male nor female. I think Christ was actually a male, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I'm not a Bible expert. A real news outlet would have followed up with, Christ refers to God only as his Father. Do you believe that, or do you still believe God is non-binary? Would have been a good question. CBS News did not follow up. And somehow it got worse. CBS, you said modern science acknowledges 6 biological variations based on chromosomes to argue that sex is a nuanced spectrum, not a strict binary. Do you still believe there are 6 biological sexes? Talarico immediately did a 180. I know there are 2 sexes, men and women. I also know there are a very small percentage of people who have these chromosomal abnormalities. The mere fact that you say abnormalities makes it not normal, and every leftist freak should get that. But they don't, because they try to normalize it always. A real news outlet would have followed up with, how does a chromosomal abnormality create a new sex when all these anomalies are made up with an either X or Y chromosome? But they're not a real news outlet. They're far left propagandists. Then they went on to say, they say you're a vegan. He said, I'm not a vegan. I'm an 8th generation Texan. I've been eating barbecue since before Ken Paxton's first indictment. And this campaign basically runs on Texas barbecue. He said meat was an existential threat to the world, and we have to stop eating it. We're using a non-meat primary campaign. Now it is powered by Texas barbecue. Boy, talk about a pivot. He's just like you and me. A real news outlet would have followed up with what changed between 2022 and now. Back in 2022, you bragged about how your campaign was only buying vegan products. Sure hope you enjoyed today's episode of Democrats Sure Got It Good, but look how poorly Talarico answered those questions. He answered them horribly. He did a 180. He's now pandering to the center, trying to pretend that he's like you and me. when he's anything but. He's still standing by God is non-binary, that heresy. He's still standing by his 6 biological sexist comments, pretending that chromosome anomalies create an entirely different sex when they do not. You might have a few more X chromosomes or a few more Y chromosomes, but if you have a Y, you're a guy, period, Nolte says. These exceptions prove the rule. Here are the biggest problem with Democrats with this freaky, sleazy, snake oil religious person who's just not that bright. As much as I despise Gavin Newsom, Barack Obama, and Nancy Pelosi, they're all very smart people. Tallarico is an actor and miscast to have the presence to pull off the brains to sail through these sweet-ass softball-tossed interviews by CBS News. Besides his flat-out heresy, nothing is more off-putting than the shamelessly transparent phoniness. Can you believe we get to make fun of this guy for another 5 months? Everybody should be making fun of this guy for another 5 months and then get out and vote against him. Simple as that. All right, 281-558 KSEV. Let's go ahead and try to get in a call here before we wrap up this first segment. Get you locked and loaded for the second segment of hour number 2, which means we have 3 more to go after this. 281-558-5738. Let's go to Joe listening in League City. Joe, thanks for hanging on. Welcome to ChrisX Radio.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm good. How are you today, Joe?
Hey. Oh, good, thank you. Hey, just to add to your comment about the local talk show all against Cornyn, whereas national they were for, fully agree, even to the point where Hannity and Kilmeade both interviewed Cornyn and listened to him say about voting 99.3% of the time, about the baggage on Paxton and everything, and they both said, man, we got to get Cornyn back in there, otherwise we might lose the Senate seat. Whereas all of the Texans, hell, we know the truth. I will admit also, though, that Clay and Buck, they were excellent. They interviewed them both at different times, obviously, but they did ask Cronin some really good questions. So, yay for Clay and Buck, yay for KPRC.
Well, that's good. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's, once again, common wisdom, as it used to be, when they were following basically what the pundits say. And for those who don't know, Fox News it's probably one of the more conservative networks. But that being said, they're still very swampy. And they're, we'll say, establishment. And they were firmly behind Cornyn. So was the establishment. They also all told us, and all the polling told us, this race was neck and neck, and it's going to come down to the wire. And it could be, but Cornyn was basically leading in all the polls just a little bit. But, man, that evil Paxton guy was way too close, and then he got obliterated. He absolutely beat Cornyn by 28 points. It wasn't close. It was more of what we thought. Now, these are the same people that are now telling us, man, we got to be careful that, that Tallarico guy's going to win the seat. Anything can happen in politics. It all boils down to turnout and who you can convince. And now the game begins, well, really yesterday, the game begins to who can get their voters out, but also who can properly identify their target. The Tallarico team is already identifying Ken Paxton as a corrupt politician. That's it. He's corruption, he's corruption, he's corruption, he's corruption, he's corrupt. They even impeached him in the Texas House. He was acquitted in the Senate. They're going to leave that part out every time. That the moment they cross-examined the witnesses, they all collapsed on the stand, were terrible, and proved it was a witch hunt. Set up by people probably far more in line with Fox News. John Cornyn. I don't doubt that Cornyn was roughly 90+% of the time voting with Trump. But I also know he didn't want Trump. He didn't like Trump. It was time to move on from Trump. He didn't go full Chip Roy and tell MAGA to kiss his ass. He didn't call them MFers. He was far more classy than that. But once again, he was a reluctant Trumper as best, and then now was campaigning in Texas as I'm a Trump guy, much like Chip Roy did. Both candidates failed miserably. Trump still has a lot of pull. Ken Paxton, I don't think he's a perfect individual. I would really, in fact, if someone has time, if you're bored, go look up Angela Paxton and see who she supported in this race. Was it John Cornyn or was it Ken Paxton? That's Angela Paxton's wife. Now, they got a divorce. He had an affair. That is common knowledge. Everybody knows. But we don't know what their arrangement was or their agreement was or what happened. I noticed that she used Ken Paxton to parlay into a seat in the Texas House. Last I checked, she is still a sitting member of the Texas House. So her voting record should be public. We should be able to go see it, see how she did. I know that she recused herself with the impeachment trial, so she didn't vote to impeach her own husband. And they've split up since then. They're not still married. I don't know if they got fully divorced, but they split up. So, and once again, the last time I heard somebody telling me this guy can't serve in politics, he had affairs on his wife, they were talking about Donald Trump, which is common knowledge as well. Everybody knows that too. Would I vote for the guy for Pope? Probably not. I don't think he'd be a good Pope. But I tell you what, I'd vote for him over the Pope to run our country because I don't like woke popes and I don't like woke people, and he has done a hell of a good job running this country compared to these establishment swamp rats, people like John Cornyn, who have done, like I said, I'm with you most of the time, but when the chips are down, as Trump said, he stabbed him in the back. That's why he didn't get his endorsement. We have learned that these people are running our country off a cliff, and they don't care. They're going to keep going that way. Now, they'll manage the decline as they did during the Obama years and during the Biden hole, but they're not America first. Donald Trump is, and they hate him for it. The American people seem to like him. And I've learned, and we've learned, and all of us should have learned, you can't trust the media because they're nothing but left-wing propagandists, and you damn sure can't trust the polling. Oh, when they get it right, every now and then they'll say. But we've learned now the betting, what is it? Is it Kalshi? I can't remember. The betting markets are far more accurate than the pollsters, so we ought to start watching those when it comes to elections. Because there's money on the table, not just a bunch of establishment people, left-wingers trying to manipulate your opinion. Thank you for the call. 281-558 KSEV. Let's take a break. You're listening to ChrisXradio. It is our Friday show on Thursday. It also happens to be National Burger Day. So if you want to weigh in on the best burgers in surrounding areas, or you want to talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about, we'll discuss what is on your mind today. 281-558 KSEV, 281-558-5738. ChrisXradio rolls on. We'll be right back.
From the KSEV Weather Center, tonight expect clear to partly cloudy skies with a low of 72. Tomorrow will bring a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 93. Tomorrow night, skies will be clear to partly cloudy with a low of 75. On Saturday, anticipate sunshine mixing with some clouds and a high of 92. Sunday will be partly sunny and humid with a high of 90. Monday will feature glimpses of blue sky with a thunderstorm and humid conditions with a high of 92. With the KSEV Weather Center forecast, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina.
already getting the Talafrico memes. That's hilarious. Oh, there are a lot of memes out there. All right, welcome back to ChrisX Radio. I'm the aforementioned X-Man. We've got this segment and then 2 more remaining, so if you want to get in here on National Burger Day, which is also our Friday show on Thursday. I know a lot of people are maybe going, what? Yeah, it's actually Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. I've been confused all day because I keep thinking it's only Wednesday because of the holiday. But no, actually it's actually Thursday. So, all right, we're doing our Friday show on Thursday. What is on your mind? 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. All right, in the next segment, I want to talk about the Fed seizing this $40 million in gold bars and cash and Rolexes from this former CIA official who apparently faked being a Navy pilot. Wait, what? How? So you fooled the CIA and then somehow stole $40 million in gold bars, and you wonder why these agencies have been corrupted? Well, we'll get to that in the next segment. I want to cover this. This is something. U.S. and Iranian negotiators apparently have reached an agreement on a 60-day memorandum of understanding extending to the current ceasefire and launching negotiations on Iran's nuclear program. But the deal still needs President Trump's final approval. This was confirmed by Fox News, who heavily supported John Cornyn. I'll just remind everyone of that. The deal follows weeks of talks threatened by heightened tensions after the U.S. engaged in defensive strikes on Iran. The U.S. first launched self-defense strikes in southern Iran on Monday, with CENTCOM claiming that U.S. targeted Iranian boats spotted laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM also claimed Iranian missiles had targeted U.S. warplanes. The U.S. responded by eliminating both Islamic Revolution Guard Corps, IRGC, boats spotted laying the mines and a surface-to-air missile site in Bandar Abbas. This is from U.S. officials through Fox News. Realize Iran is complaining about us taking out their drones as they're using their drones to attack not only us, but their neighbors. Do I have a lot of faith in this agreement? Not necessarily. But the U.S. military has been enforcing this naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz during the ceasefire, and that has been very tough on Iran, but also tough on the world with oil prices, which have dropped sharply in the last few days. The U.S. shot down an array of Iranian drones in the Strait of Hormuz on Wednesday, shortly before Iran launched a ballistic missile strike on U.S. ally Kuwait. Though Kuwaiti forces successfully intercepted the missile, CENTCOM called the launch an egregious ceasefire violation. Trump on Wednesday said Iran was negotiating on fumes and that the sides hadn't reached a deal just yet. So far, we haven't got there. We're not satisfied with it, but we will be when we will be. Either that or we'll have to just finish the job. Trump keeps threatening. He doesn't threaten forever. Eventually, he will go back in and do what he needs to do if they don't get on board. All right, well, we need to take a break because we're over. When we come back, we'll talk about this former CIA official who had $40 million in gold bars in his home and cash and Rolexes, like 35 watches. $40 million in gold stashed in gold bars in his home. This story is astonishing to me. Anyway, it is our Friday show on Thursday. Where's the best burger joints? We got a few suggestions, but you guys seem to have run out. You guys don't know any good burger joints? I got a text message. Mel's in Tomball apparently has a good burger. They do have a pretty good burger. They've got more. They're just basically comfort food. But, man, I enjoy Mel's out in Tomball. It's a good place to go. If Richard Rosso's listening, then he'd probably call for another meeting of the minds, which all we do is talk about food and stuff. All right, 281-558-KSEV. It is our Friday show on Thursday. We'll be right back. Welcome back to ChrisXradio. It is our Friday show on Thursday. We have this segment and one more remaining, and then we're done. We're done for the week, and then we'll actually be back on Monday because we weren't back last Monday because of the holiday. But we'll be back on Monday, God willing. If we can all make it through the weekend, that's the goal. In this day and age, there's no telling. You're like, well, sometimes, there's a lot of sudden death these days, which scares me. Once again, I was one of those people that had a religious exemption to the vaccine. My religious exemption was Jesus. No, I'm not going to take it. Okay, so there you go. But I didn't. Not that I don't believe that the COVID virus was real. I just don't take vaccines from companies that have exempted themselves from any sort of liability. And that goes against my religion. And I can pray to whatever altar we want to pray to. That's what I'm going with. All right, anyway, it's National Burger Day, so how do you like your burgers? Where are the best burgers in Houston and surrounding areas? And whatever else is on your mind. It is our Friday show on Thursday. The Amigos will take over tomorrow from 4 to 6. 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Let's go to Keith listening in Cyprus. Keith, thank you for hanging on. Welcome to ChrisXradio.
Hey, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just great. Go right ahead.
Oh, okay, great. So one of the best burgers I've ever had is at Langford Groceries. It's in Midtown, just west of downtown on Welch Street.
You know, I went there a long time ago, and they have very good burgers. There used to be.
Oh yeah, it's an old house. Yeah,
it is. It's literally an old house downtown. There was another location over there at I-10. Was it near Washington or somewhere right over there? I don't know if that location is still there.
Oh no, you're thinking of Christian's Tailgate. That was the original Christian's there next to Denny's.
You're right. You are correct. You're right.
Yeah,
I confused the two.
Yeah, but Langford Groceries was on diners, drive-ins, and dives about 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, that's right. No, you're right. They
were.
You know,
Guy Fiera.
Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't realize they were on there, but I have been there. It's been a long time, and you're right. It's right down. It's like middle of downtown, and it's just in house, and it's a great house because man, their burgers are good.
Yeah, it's actually just west of downtown, like in the old Midtown area, and where they're building all the big 3-story townhouses now. They were tear downs, but it's. I don't know what they do, but it's great, and it's just not a place. You have to be in the area. But I have an honorable mention for another one. If
oh yeah, no, absolutely, I want to hear it.
Another one. So Annie's on Post Oak. If you're on the West Loop heading south, before you make that turn to go to the Astrodome, you get off at Post Oak and you go down past Braeswood before Belford. It's on the left. Annie's Hamburgers.
Okay, you're talking about South Post Oak, not North Post Oak.
Yeah, South Post Oak. Yeah, they got a great bacon cheeseburger, and
oh wow!
So I've been going there for over 30 years.
I've never been to Annie's. I did not know that. Yeah, I gotta try that out.
Don't get in that side of town. Yeah. So I heard you earlier talking about Sam's Deli. When I moved to Houston in 1980, that's the first place I went to. And they were on a little strip center on Willcrest and I-10 on the north side then before they moved to Kirkwood on the other. But
okay.
We love those too.
Yeah, they do have good burgers. I always forget about that place for some reason, and it's right down the street from the station. I mean, right down the street. So I need to go back and take another trip out there. So no, thank you very much. That's good suggestions. I appreciate the call, Keith. Have a great weekend. I'd forgotten about Langford's. Langford's is really good. And I haven't been there in a long time. My buddy Jonathan and I, we go eat. I remember we went down there. And, man, it was so good. But it's, like I say, I know it is actually technically, I think Keith is right. It's a little off center of downtown. It's not like in downtown Houston, but that's basically downtown Houston. And when you go down there, I don't remember how the parking was there. So I'm always a little reluctant when it comes to going down to town because you have to deal with parking and all that. In fact, I avoid downtown at pretty much all costs these days. I try to get further outside the city, which is why I go to like Tomball, move up towards Magnolia. I imagine there's probably some other places out in Magnolia. Need to check with my buddy Sean. I think he lives out in Magnolia now. So Sean Guitar Herald. He's been playing at Cisco's. I think maybe tomorrow night he's playing at WO Sushi out in Magnolia. I think it's tomorrow night. Now that I'm in town for a weekend, I need to go, check him out, watch him again. It's been a little while since I've seen him. But he performs a solo, and he's so good on guitar. He's a great singer and just so good. It's funny, whenever I go watch him perform, I'm like, it brings back the old days when we were performing with Catch-22 in the 90s and wanted to go play. It gives him that itch. I'm like, oh, man, I want to go gig again. And then I'm like, oh, no, now I have to force myself to sit down and learn songs and play them properly and practice. And I've gotten so out of practice because I just don't play as often as I used to. Even though I'm surrounded by guitars, for those watching on the video, you can see one of my American flag guitars. I have two of them. Got one right there just off to my right. You can see it here. It's got that great little, the paint job on it is fantastic. That's an American flag. But it was funny, Sean mentioned, hey, man, I'd like to borrow your American flag guitar one day for a gig. I'm like, absolutely. The guitar will never have sounded better ever than when Sean is playing my guitar, because Sean can make those things sing. He is such a good guitar player. But he's not just a good guitar player. He's a good singer. He's a talented performer. But it makes me miss the days when I was the lead singer, rhythm guitar player for Catch-22. He was the rhythm. Well, I say rhythm. He played rhythm and lead. And my God, can he play lead? And we had Jerry and Larry. Jerry holding down the bass, and then Larry on drums, who passed away. I think it's 2 years now. It's like, man, it's sad. These were guys that we jammed with, and now, losing some. We lost touch with Larry. I don't know whatever happened to Larry. And then one of the guys we called him the roadie, Duncan, one of my good friends, we lost him last year. So that's weird when you start getting old and your friends are dying off. I hate that. But that is the natural progression of things. It also tells you need to take care of yourself. You can't go drinking all the time. Can't do drugs all the time. Expect that not to have an impact, which is why I've stayed away from all that nonsense. But then again, like I said, I got lazy. I wasn't exercising enough, and then got hit with that COVID thing that gave me the water in my lungs, or fluid on my lungs and stuff, last year when I got sick. And I've been good since then. Man, I'm just so much better than what I was. Thank God, because that was awful. Man, that was rough. I've never been so sick that I had to go to the hospital to really get it taken care of. I guess when I was young, I remember I got sun poisoning, which is something only a very fair-skinned ginger like myself can get. I got sunburned so bad I was breaking out in hives and just itching. I had to go get a shot. And they gave me, I'm trying to remember, was it a Benadryl shot? And it immediately helped. Oh, my God, I was never more thankful to get a shot. I do not like shots. I did not even care. I was like, give me a shot. I don't care. Hip, shoulder, whatever. Just give me a shot. If it's going to help stop this itching and these hives I'm breaking out in, I'm for it. And it worked immediately. Made a huge difference. All right, tell you what, let's take a short break, and then we'll come back and wrap things up. Mark out in Cypress. Hold on for me, Mark. Mark has some burger spots. I know there's a few places out in Cypress, so we'll see if we get some of those. That's out of my hood these days. That's where I can go have if I want to go grab a quick burger, other than a fast food burger. I'm going to go get a burger somewhere tonight. There's a lot of good burger joints. All right, 281-558 KSEV. We have one segment remaining for the week. We'll come back. We'll kick things off with Mark in Cypress and maybe take another call. You got a good burger joint in Houston or the surrounding areas. We'll come back and wrap up today's show and get things turned over to Craig Collins. His program airs at 6. I don't know if he'll be talking about burgers. I don't think he's a burger guy like me. All right, 281-558 KSEV. We'll be right back. right, so I'm looking at an article from KBRC Channel 2. Houston police raided a Southwest Houston social club Wednesday after a month-long investigation into illegal gambling activity. The place is called Lucky J Social Club, and they got a picture, and it looks just like a casino. It's got Lucky and then a spade and then a J and then a diamond. And a SWAT officer served a warrant while 80 or 90 people were reportedly inside the business. They found gambling tables and card games inside. It's unclear who was detained and what roles they played. What? So there's that weird, I don't understand the gambling thing. I know it's illegal to gamble in Texas, kinda, but I don't get this because there's some of these like game room type places. I think it's illegal to give out and gamble for money. I don't understand this. But I would be interested on seeing the betting odds when it comes to James Talafrico and Ken Paxton compared to the pollsters who could not have been any more wrong when it came to Ken Paxton and John Cornyn. Anyway, welcome back to ChrisX Radio. You reached the final segment of the program. Up next is the Craig Collins program, so make a point to tune in and catch the Craig Collins show. Even though, like I said, I don't know if he's a burger guy, but it is National Hamburger Day. National Burger Day. How do you like your burgers? Who has the best burgers in Houston and surrounding areas? Let's go to the phones here before we run out of time. Let's go to Mark, who's been patiently holding in Cyprus. Mark, thank you for hanging on. Welcome to ChrisX Radio.
Hey, Chris, I want to bring back something old school for you. CSA Podway, Chris.
I almost forgot about CSA Podway. We got to keep that one alive.
He is back in the news. Everybody's famous Spanish teacher.
He's Dr. Jill Biden, okay?
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever the Spanish word for doctor is, you might as well say it like that.
Yeah.
So I know somebody mentioned Langford Grocery, which is the ultimate. Yeah, it's great. But I'm with y'all. I mean, the burger should be messy, should be juicy. I don't know why Robert and Pearland didn't mention this, but I got a little inside track because I used to work for a couple of food companies, so I see the back of the kitchen and I see what I'm delivering. And there's one in Pearland called Stop, and they have a couple of different locations, but they ordered their beef is always delivered fresh, never frozen.
Oh,
and,
what's it called again?
And they're part of a gas station.
And what's the name of the place? I didn't understand it. Stop?
Stop. Like you stop on something, stop.
Oh, Stop. Okay, just Stop. Okay, wow.
Yes, STOMPS, Stop.
Oh, Stomp. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, like you go and stomp on somebody's ass. Stomp.
You're going to stomp a mud hole in your ass. All right, so that's...
There you go. That's the way, yeah, their burgers are always fresh ground beef.
Oh, okay. I may have to try that. And that's out in Pearland.
Yeah, so you might have to run into Robert. So, God bless you if you have to do that. But
well, I'll just make a point to have him wash my windshield on the way there, so that way my windshield will be clean.
Or while you're eating a hamburger, say, hey, man, you're not doing anything. Why don't you wash your windshield while I go in there and have a burger?
I may do
that.
So
it also, actually, by him is Jack, which is multiple occasions. There's one near you in Old Town Spring, Jack, J.X. The owner named after his son, Jack. They make real good, fresh ground beef patties. I did look up to one near you, that Tejas Burger. It looks on the map, it looks like it's permanently closed.
Oh, damn. Okay, well, that sucks. By the way, speaking of Jack's...
You're not going there enough. You had to get healthy, so it closed down.
So, yeah, screwed up. Decided to quit eating so many burgers and shut them down. The Jack's...
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know there was a Jack's out in Spring, so I have to go check that out. It may not be as close as you think to me, but I'll go check that out. I used to go to the Jack's over there in the Heights, and I think it's still there. They had opened a new one like near Midtown or something, and it closed like 2 or 3 months later. But Jack's Burgers and Grill or whatever, you know what? I've eaten there many, many times. That's a good place. I always forget about it.
Yeah. The Jack's Midtown, that's hit or miss. I mean, honestly, you don't have to go that far. I mean, there's plenty of stuff. I'm in Cypress on the other side of 290 from you. I believe the way you describe sometimes is, I think you're near 290 near 1960 area.
I'm right in between 290 and 249. I'm on the east side of 290, so I'm right over there.
There you go. Yeah. So. Yeah, there's so many good. There's the one, I don't know if anyone mentioned it, back around U of H, right across from U of H, Cream Burger. Been there since 1940-something.
Oh, wow. I don't think
they
I've
were
ever been
featured
there.
on Texas Bucket List, I believe. And those two black-owned, two ladies, cash only still.
Wow.
It's a great place. I drive a couple burgers from there, and you better you describe it as like going, well, I'm a person, I eat everything, so I'm like going, however you make it, that's how I'm going to eat it. So that's the way they do it. But they've been around since the 40s.
Oh man, okay. And I'm U of H grad, so like I said, I can't believe I don't think I've ever been there, but I'll have to check it out. All right, thanks for the call, Mark. Got to get one more caller in before we run out of time. Let's go to Mike listening in Tomball. By the way, Cream Burger, I got to remember that. So I'm ever back near my old alma mater, which I don't go there very often.
Hey, Chris,
Anyway,
how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Hey, I just want to make it short. There's a place up on Louetta, just west of 45, about a mile and a half west of 45, called Heroes. It's actually a bar and restaurant, and they make great burgers. I mean, these are like half-pound burgers, and the taste is phenomenal.
Okay, that's an easy one to remember. Heroes. It's like a bar /
Heroes,
burger joint.
HERO''S, and it's run by a Marine. So
oh man, so it's run by a veteran. Man, can't go wrong with that.
It's very veteran friendly.
Oh, very cool. Okay, I may have to make a trip up there tonight. Then I don't know if I'll go tonight or not.
Be
but
worth
I'll go
it.
check it out.
It'd be worth it. The owner's name is Steve. So
By the way,
if you get a chance,
listening. If anyone's listening and they go to Heroes Burger and go do it, go tell Steve you heard it on ChrisX Radio that they have good burgers, because eventually I'm going to come in there and I'll have to ask for Steve too. So I'm going to try that place out.
Sounds good, Chris.
All right. Thank you for the call, Mike. I appreciate it. All right. So Heroes Burger out there, that's a lot closer to me than U of H. Over there. Cream. Man, I don't know if I've heard that. I know there's another burger place I heard somewhere over there. Oh, was it? It's like a 24-hour burger place. And I kind of want to go try it out, but we live in Houston. I'm a little reluctant to go eat at a burger place. It was an outdoor place. So you would have to go order your burger and sit outdoors, and it's 24 hours. I'm like, I'd be reluctant in the city of Houston, Democrat-controlled Houston, to sit and eat a burger out in the middle of the night. Don't get me wrong, I want to, but then again, I would need to be packed in. But man, it's hard to fight off those drive-bys. And they keep telling us, crime's down. Now another body's found in the swamp, in the bayou. All right, gang, we're done. We're out of time. All right, everybody have a good, safe weekend. Have a good time. We'll be back on Monday, God willing. Stick around. The Craig Collins program is up next. And if you want, give him your burger recommendations, too. He's new, at least in the last year.
You're listening to the Voice of Texas, AM 700 KSEV Tomball and AM 1540